Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about Place by David Szalay, a Booker Prize winner 2025, and the reason why I chose to read this book.
Anyone who hasn't read Flesh yet, what are you doing?
To be honest, I wouldn't have picked this book myself without any recommendations because I'm one of those people who chooses the book by its cover, and yes, I'm guilty of that. And here I didn't find the cover appealing and neither the title. But I'm glad that I got to read this book. In this video, I'm going to tell you what the book is about, and then I'll share what I liked and what I did not like in the book. This story follows the life of a Hungarian man, István, from his teenage years to his old age. And when he's a teenager, he is actually seduced by his 40-year-old neighbor, and this is his first sexual encounter, and that really sets the tone of the whole novel. And we see a lot of sexual encounters and physical intimacy throughout the book. It is one of the factors that keeps the plot moving, and if you remove all the sexual encounters or the physical intimacy from the book, then there is not much to it, really. And the author does not put it in a romantic, erotic, or steamy kind of way. It is just taken as some element of life, and it is just there. Is despite a lot of physical relationships and encounters, it still feels so detached. The main character, Esteban, still feels so lonely, so detached. It's like he does not really connect with any people other than his son. For me, it was only that point when I felt like the main character was feeling something for another character. Yes, during his teenage years, when he's having this relationship with the older woman, he expresses that he thinks that he is in love with her, and he expresses his feelings. That does not turn out to be well. But basically, this book is about life of Esteban. He experiences so much. Like the plot is great, and even though it is plot driven, we still feel so connected with the main character. We care so much about him, even though he does not speak much. The experiences that he goes through, changes that it has brought in himself, and then with all of that, he goes back to the place where he really started from, and the whole novel comes into a full circle. In the beginning of the novel, we see Stefan getting seduced by his neighbor. That event does not turn out to be good. Following a tragic incident, he has to go to a detention center. And at that time, I felt like, the whole novel is going to be very rough. Maybe he's going to have a very hard time living life. But that is not how it turned out to be. In fact, lots of surprising, unexpected event happens. He goes to army, he takes on any odd jobs that he can find. He works as a bouncer of a strip club, and then he moves to the elite upper class of London. We see the rise of an ordinary man into the wealthy upper class um, groups, and we also see the downfall from it. And it just makes you think like what there is to life actually. It is just life, experiencing things and living, breathing, existing. That is all. And Esteban, he does not speak a lot. He is very reserved. He uses minimal words, and sometimes it is really frustrating. At least for me, it was. He does not give much. If you ask him how his day was, then he would just reply with "okay" or "I don't know" or "good, I guess." And it was like he's not really interested to have a conversation. And for me, that was annoying. If I meet somebody like Esteban, I would be very, very annoyed. We just see him doing things. He does whatever there is to do. He does not have ambitions in life. He does not think about future. He is not worried about future. He just exists in this space, and he just does whatever there is to do. And when he takes some pivotal, monumental decisions, some important decisions that is so impactful in the plot of the novel, when he takes some decisions, he does it, and we know it, but we don't know what he is really thinking inside his head, and it is upon the readers to speculate a lot of things. I would say this book explores the theme of masculinity, sexual desire, loneliness, detachment, and it's also about how is it to live like a man, and do they try to face their emotions or feelings. I think it is about that. Now, coming to what I really liked in the book, it is definitely the writing. The writing is so minimal, so simple, so few words, and there is a lot of blank space and silences, those awkward blankness in the novel, and it is also meaningful. Even those silences and blank space, they speak volumes, and they give some sort of scenario about the context, about the intensity of the conversation or intensity of just being there with another person. Even the conversations are so minimal, and the writing is not something that I had seen it before, so I was really hooked from the beginning. Whoever reads the book, if you read the first two pages, then you'll really get hooked into it. Regarding the writing, one of the chair of the book prize mentioned something that I'd like to read aloud. In quote, I don't think I have read a novel that uses the white space on the page so well. It's as if the author, David Szalay, is inviting the reader to fill this space, to observe, almost to create the character with him. And that is just the perfect way to describe the writing of this book. That is exactly how it is. Lots of blank space, lots of silence, the awkwardness, the pauses, and all of those spaces are also communicating with the readers, and it feels like we are just with the character. We are just so involved with the main protagonist that we end up caring so much about him, even though he does not speak anything about what he is actually feeling inside. And I saw a booktuber mention that the book is nuanced, and that's the perfect way to describe it in one word. It is nuanced. There is no black and white. There is lot of gray areas, and the main protagonist also has lots of gray attributes to himself. I admire how the author has put so much things, like so much contradictions into one space and made it work. We see guilt as well as we see the desires, we see the romance. All those dramatic tone of events, they are so well put together, they are so well structured, and this book explores a lot of things that I didn't encounter with before, like the detachment. It just shows it very well, the loneliness, and despite a lot of things happening, we still feel slowed down. Now, coming to what I did not like about this book, it is definitely that it made me sad, and I know it's not something to complain about, but it does make you sad. And I have heard many people say that this book, makes you feel like how precious life is, and makes you just feel grateful about life and living. I get what they mean, but for me, once I finished reading it, I was so sad. There was just this heaviness in my chest, and for me, it was like, what is there to living? What is there to living at all? When the book ends, István is old, alone, lonely, I think, and just seeing him in that space made me feel sad. It is definitely a dark, gloomy read. I remember one time I felt like so disconnected from István. I felt like he's not as he was before. That was when he became a father. That was the only time I felt like he was thinking of future. He was taking responsibility and doing something, thinking about the future. Before that, and even after that, he just does not care. But when he is a father, that is when I saw the shift, the change in him. This explores the nuances of human relationships, complexities of life, loneliness, even among a lot of things happening, and life as it is. You might sympathize with the main character, you might even judge him. I actually judged him when he was having an affair with his boss wife. That is how he rises to the wealth and power. That is exactly how he transgress these class boundaries. You might sympathize with him, you might end up judging him, but you will still care so much about him, even though he does not speak aloud. In short, I'd like to borrow the words of a chair of a Booker Prize who explained this book in a single sentence, and that might make you feel interested to read this book. In quote, the book is about living and the strangeness of living. And as we read, as we turn the pages, we are glad we are alive and reading, experiencing this extraordinary singular novel. Let me know if you found this book interesting and if you'd like to take a read. And if you have already read the book, I'd love to know your thoughts about it. Alright, that is it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye. Happy reading.